Welcome back, and it's time now to switch gears and go to Abuja, where Gloria Ume Ezeoke is waiting with more news. Good evening, Gloria.
Hello, Ladi. President Muhammadu Buhari's position on the issue of restructuring, as outlined in his New Year message, has drawn mixed reactions from federal lawmakers in the National Assembly. While the lawmakers identify with the plans of the president for infrastructure development across the country, they express concerns about budgetary allocations and its implementations. Our correspondent, Lanre Lasisi, reports.
Government's watchword and policy's rest is change.
On the 1st of January 2018, President Muhammadu Buhari addressed the country in a television broadcast in his New Year message. In the speech, the president wished Nigerians a happy new year and also touched on some topical issues. Federal legislators have been reacting to the speech.
Well, my first impression is that I think the president did a very good job. He addressed issues that were uppermost in the minds of Nigerians, beginning with, of course, the challenges of mobility during the festive period occasioned by the fuel scarcity.
You can see the president has spoken out on where we feel we are lagging behind. You see, we are only a 2-year-old government, and people seem to compare us with a 16-year-old government. I feel the comparison is not there.
In the speech, the president also promised that government will make significant inroads in advancing road, rail, and power projects across the country.
We want to see how the president will run it, in this budget year. Especially, I have always felt pain in me as to capital budget implementation.
I was happy to see the emphasis on power. I was also happy to see the emphasis on using the Sukuk bonds to construct major highways across the country. But as chairman of the Senate Committee on the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, I was particularly happy to see the president weigh in on the whole issue of maintaining highways in this country.
One part of the speech that attracts attention is the president's reference to the ongoing debate on restructuring and his position on the matter.
That to say we should be patient. The question is for how long are we going to be patient? Either we call it power devolution or restructuring. People interpreted restructuring like secession. It's not, to me, it is not secession. It's a question of you controlling 50% of the resources we have for healthy competition.
Like I have said from the beginning, the word restructuring means different things to different people. And I think the president contributed healthily to the debate by trying to outline what he thinks the main challenges of our country should be at this point in time.
The issue of structure is becoming an issue just now because the processes have failed over the years and we've not been able to address that issue. Otherwise, the processes are actually, very, very important. If well implemented all these years, then the need for restructuring would not have arisen in the first place.
These lawmakers are of the opinion that the days ahead will give the president the opportunity to run with some of the plans he has outlined in his New Year message for the benefit of the country. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
Residents of Buhari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory have taken their destiny in their own hands as they begin the rebuilding process of the town, which was engulfed in a communal clash on December the 25th, 2017. Some residents of the area, in an interview with our correspondent, applaud the return of law and order to the area by security agencies, which has made it possible for them to go about their lawful businesses. But other residents are appealing to the government to reveal the dusk to dawn curfew in the area.
The Christmas Day violence in Buhari, a satellite town in the nation's capital, is not one to be easily forgotten by residents of the area. The communal clash led to the burning of the major market in the area, and a dusk to dawn curfew was put in place. Barely 2 weeks after, the affected residents returned to salvage their lives while applauding the return of peace in the area.
We are happy peace have relatively returned to Buhari, though there is still curfew 6 to 6, but we bless God the security have been able to curtail the problem in Buhari.
The situation is calm now, for now. As you can see, people have started moving around.
This is a temporary site cleared for the traders to begin their trade, while the burnt market will be reconstructed. But it's deserted, as the traders prefer to display their wares around the burnt market. They want the government to relax the 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew and assist traders to rebuild their shops.
In the night, we used to sell bulbs, many other things like electrical parts, machine parts in the night, but now we are not more selling.
What may help us for the market we have born? May they can't build a shop back for us.
We are just begging the government so that she can do the market for us. Because even me, my wife have some things inside the market there.
With the security situation under control, the Commissioner of Police in charge of the Federal Capital Territory reveals the number of arrests made so far.
We've arrested, I think, about 15 persons so far, and we were able to get some of those that actually started the problem. We got about 2 of them.
As security agents continue to patrol the town to forestall further attacks, the chairman of Buhari Area Council, who declined to speak on camera, assures residents of the area that the situation has been completely brought under control as he awaits the security report on the immediate and remote causes of the crisis.
Officials of the Delta State Independent Electoral Commission are confident about their readiness to conduct a hitch-free local government election tomorrow. They say all is set to conduct the polls in all the 25 local government areas of the state. Police authorities in the area are also warning that there would be zero tolerance to all forms of mischief and bad conduct during the polls.
A vehicle arrives at the Delta State Independent Electoral Commission office in Asaba, ahead of the local government elections taking place in less than 24 hours. It's one of many for distribution of electoral material to the local governments. Conspiracy theorists need not worry. The bags contain non-sensitive electoral material. The real deal comes later in accordance with electoral law. The Delta State local government elections will involve 16 political parties, 1,089 candidates comprising of 979 councillorship, 55 chairmanship and 55 vice chairmanship candidates contesting the election. The electoral umpire claims readiness.
This check is really prepared, top gear. Everything has been put in place, and the Commission has put off a lot of modalities in place for the success of the election.
Independent election observers are also present in the state.
We observe that the first time in the history of the state, strong and formidable opposition, party, and seriously campaigning and mobilizing to challenge the ruling party in Delta State in the local government poll. This has made the election very interesting.
As far as security is concerned, the Delta State Police Command indicate they have it covered.
Our strength in Delta State is close to about 6,000. Everybody is going to be involved, and we're expecting about the same number from neighboring states. So all in all, we are going to deploy about 9,000 personnel for the purpose of the elections. In each and every polling station, we expect to deploy 3. Normally, it's 3, but this time around, we want to deploy 4 per polling station to ensure that everything goes on well.
It appears the stage is set for the Delta State local government elections, and as voters go to the polls, time will tell who will be victor and who will be vanquished.
Well, that's it from the nation's capital. We now join Emana Amawe in Lagos for business news.
You first. First Bank.
Thank you, Gloria. Welcome to Business News. The Naira is expected to firm slightly to 360 to the dollar at the Forex markets next week, as traders expect activities to pick up after the Christmas and New Year holiday. The Naira was flat at 363 Naira against the dollar at the parallel market, while it depreciated by 0.27% to 361.31 at the investors and exporters FX window, amid thin volumes by traders. Meanwhile, the President, Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, Mr. Aminu Gwadabe, says pending by politicians ahead of the 2019 general elections may threaten the Naira stability. He asked regulatory authorities and security operatives to ensure that currency hoarders and speculators do not leverage on the upcoming elections to erode the gains recorded in the nation's foreign exchange market. And the latest survey by Reuters indicates that members of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries showed strong compliance with the oil output cut deal in December 2017, despite higher prices. The survey shows that the incoming OPEC president, the United Arab Emirates, was the most compliant to the output cut deal among other OPEC members, while top exporter Saudi Arabia trimmed output by 60,000 barrels per day. Among countries with higher output, the biggest rise came from Nigeria, whose exports in December were set to reach a 12-month high. The survey further shows no sign that all producers are boosting output to cash in on higher prices or to replace the decline from Venezuela, where output is dropping amid economic crisis. And the world manufacturing activity measured by the Purchasing Managers Index climbed to near 7-year highs in December 2017, driving commodity prices higher. Bloomberg Commodity Spot Index, that tracked 22 raw materials, climbed to its highest level since 2014 on Thursday. Research reports say a stronger production was recorded in both the manufacturing and services sectors in the final month of last year. A survey by JP Morgan and Market says forward-looking indicators such as new orders and the backlog of work also points to the current solid upturn in global manufacturing extending into the start of 2018. Two separate readings for Nigeria's manufacturing index released this week shows increases across board. Both the central bank and the independent FBN Quest data revealed a big jump in activity last month. And the local equities market ends the first week of the new year on the sunny side with more bargain hunting and positive sentiments across all the sectors of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. For more details on the market's performance today, let's join Chimezi.
Thank you for joining us on Stock Market Report. Activities at the equities market today and the rest of the week can be described as a very good way to start the new year. The index ended the first trading week of 2018 bullish, with the all-share index up by 0.64%, almost crossing the 39,000 mark. Interestingly, as at midday, the index was up 1.09% with gains across board. But shortly before the closing time, the market dynamics changed following drop in share prices of some banking stocks. Nevertheless, all the sectors gained. Transaction volume and value today were amazing. Over 753 million shares, worth about 11 billion naira. For some market analysts, today's proceedings were a good test of strength for the bulls. This is because, in spite of the huge volume and value traded, the market was still able to close positive. Trading is expected to resume fully next week with more market players back to work. And for traders, that will mean stronger momentum and better performance. And that was the Stock Market Report. I'm Chimezie Obi Iwago. Back to you, Imana.
Thanks, Chimezie. It's a bullish start in the year for most of the world's leading stock markets, as equities end the week with multi-year highs lifted by lower Eurozone inflation data and global optimism for 2018. Here are the figures. And that's our package on business news tonight. I'm Imana Amawe. The news at 10 continues.
You first. First Bank.
Next on the news at 10, Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger to serve 3-match touchline ban after admitting a Football Association misconduct. That will be in the sports news. Please stay on with us.